TraderInternationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich.
All right, hello everybody. Finally here doing a show. We're gonna have two this week. I'll do another one on Friday morning, Thursday night for you guys. And I'll try to keep it, I think this 10 a.m. time is pretty good. I'm going to try to keep it around 10 a.m. I know a lot of people have asked for more consistency. So we're going to do it. We're going to try to be a little bit more consistent than this market's been. Oh, all right. Let's see if anybody joins. I'll interact with you guys. If not, if the viewership is light, then I'll just do my normal spiel, and it's fine. Both are okay. Let's see if the Discord's active. Not really. What do you guys think of that thumbnail? Do we like my new cartoon character? That's I like it. I'm gonna keep using it. So let's talk about the S&P first. Yes, Eskimo, we will talk about silver. I know you guys always like to talk about stuff after they rally hard. Like, all right, this is no longer in a buy zone. Let's talk about it. Oh, it's too funny. I need to talk about things when they're boring. That's when I have to talk about things. So then you guys can actually make money. That's the goal. Although I think, to be fair, YouTube is mostly about hype. So maybe my videos would be more popular if I talked about only the hype things and not the boring stuff. Let's go all the way to a weekly chart on the S&P. We'll also pull up a weekly chart on Bitcoin. We're going to go through both and kind of like compare and see how all of this lines up. You can see with Bitcoin, like RSI does not look good. This is the lowest. The only other time we were this low was in 2022, basically bear market territory, right? We were here, and we even hit a 7, 8, and 9 and still kept crashing. You can see they don't work if the market wants to keep going lower. I'm not saying this is going to happen. This was a potential scenario, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, I bought silver at $11. I'm still holding physical silver. Unfortunately, even though back then the amount of money I spent on it seemed huge to me, now it seems like nothing. And even though it's gone up 5x, still doesn't feel like it's not exactly life-changing. Okay. This is Bitcoin, and this is our uptrending parallel channel, right? So this hasn't broken down. I still like how this looks. I don't know why it keeps getting messed up a bit there. It should be like that. Okay. And everything should line up. Yeah, it lines up pretty well. It's maybe not perfect, but I think it's pretty good. Okay, we'll lock that. Save it. As long as we're in this parallel channel, I can't be overly bearish on Bitcoin. I just can't. And if I get rid of this, right, we're literally at the 38.2 retracement of the entire rally, which is a perfectly reasonable area to hit for a bullish reversal to happen. The issue I have is that we don't have any nice divergence here. This is not, I would like to see price a little bit lower and then have this be higher. That would be a textbook divergence. But instead we have what could be considered, I believe, hang on a second. Checking something. A little bit rusty on some stuff. I can't find my reference. All right, I won't talk about it. Let's go to S&P. It's okay. S&P also on a weekly chart. Not as bad as Bitcoin, but it doesn't look great here. This is weekly bearish, and that's why you're seeing these fluctuations, because a market that is still bullish in a way is competing with momentum indicators that are bearish. Like this is not good on a weekly chart. I mean, we haven't broken down from the 50, so it can't be fully bearish, but MACD doesn't look great. It's not good. If we go all the way out to a monthly, see on the monthly we have a 7 coming in. Now the last time these came in, it didn't matter as much. You did get a big retrace on that 9. Like that doesn't, in hindsight, it doesn't look like that much, but I bet if it was happening, it would be a big deal. I mean, you had a couple of these, right? And you had this one. This is last month. This is November. Barely saved. You can see how we've kind of gone up only. We hit my 4.618 level. Yeah, tried hidden bullish divergence. I didn't want to say anything until I like double checked it. I just haven't used it, but it could be considered a hidden bullish divergence here. On the S&P, you can see we're still highly bullish on the monthly chart, but we are starting to break down. You do have a actual bullish divergence on MACD, normal bullish divergence. So that it's not amazing. And you can see on the 2-week and the weekly, we've kind of started to roll over. So I was rah bull before, and even last week I was super bullish because I thought we would get this kind of counter trend, not necessarily counter trend, but this kind of rally to you know, catch everyone off guard. This is like a short covering rally almost. But I think it's played out. And as I said on Friday, I sold. I would say I sold about 75% of my long portfolio, and I fully hedged myself. I fully hedged, and I went short some quantum names, and they printed today, and that was great. So I'm not sold on this being a bull. Like I'm watching this downtrend line here, and until this kind of breaks to the upside, I can't get crazy bullish. I just can't. I can look for like oversold rebounds, which this was. We hit a TD7 on the daily, rebounded, and now it looks like we're trying to roll over again. Now MACD is bullish, so that provides another counter signal. But that's why this area is not easy. This is where I say I would recommend to downsize, massively downsize your longs, and consider hedges. And if you do want to long, don't long at full size. Maybe go half whatever your normal size is. That's because this is not pretty. And this could go either way. We could still get like a quote unquote Santa Claus rally, okay, and then roll over in the new year, or we just roll over now, you know, or it's even more complicated and we like roll over here to half and then we do this, you know, or we just do this. It really, there's no good read on direction right now, for at least for me personally. We did have a 7, 8, and 9 come in on the daily chart. Oh wait, no, that's not the daily. That's on the 12-hour. Nothing came in on the daily. But you can see if we use my fibs, I like to use fibs. We came right up to the 786. So 786, 886 for everybody that's been watching for a long time. We've got we came right into my short area along with weekly and monthly top end resistance. So this was a great short zone. And that's why I did add a little bit to my shorts up here yesterday. So, you know, this will be a great rejection zone, and we're slowly breaking down from this uptrending parallel channel. I don't know what that means, Cole. How many horse roosters can we fit into a broiler chicken? And then on the 4-hour, you can see this is obviously a complete breakdown, where MACD's gone negative, 4-hour's gone, RSI's gone negative, although RSI hasn't fully broken down. We also came into this kind of resistance area right up here. Makes perfect sense that we would reject from that zone. So I'm cautiously hedged, and in the short term, I expect us to roll over a bit further. I'm considering this a bit of a range. So if you're trading this from a range perspective, you'd want to look for retraces down to 38.2 to take your first profit. This kind of 67.30 area, first take profit zone, and we could bounce from there, or we could head lower, and we go down to my 61.8, 78.6, 88.6 area and bounce again. I don't see full massive market breakdown, but I see a range here. I'm not going to be rah-rah bullish or rah-rah bearish. I'm cautiously bearish and hedging, but not at any kind of full size. Hopefully that makes sense. With Bitcoin, well, we'll do some stocks and then we'll get into Bitcoin. So Intel had a nice rally up here, but it's looking exactly like the stock market on a daily chart, where you've got kind of this downtrend, and we've come right up into this resistance area, and it's kind of trying to decide, is it time to pull back, or will it rally more? And you have a 7, 8, and 9 that's coming on the 4-hour. So I had a bunch of calls on Intel. I took profit on Friday, and I'm just waiting to see how this resolves. This could continue higher, or this could just roll over. For now, it looks like it might just pause, maybe get a slight pullback, and then you'll continue higher. So maybe something like this. Okay, thank you, Cole. I'll check them out. And then we head up to that like 48 area. So if if we're conservative and we say like 47.50, then you could look for a pullback right to here, 38.9, something like that to get into Intel. But right now I've sold most of my position. If we get that pullback, I may enter again. As I said, IonQ, I shorted a bunch of quantum stocks, so Rigetti and IonQ on Friday, and we've had quite a bit of a little pullback so far. I only shorted it directly with the stock. I didn't buy puts or anything like that. My portfolio is big enough that just shorting it with the stock provides a large payout. And we had the 7, 8, 9 that came in, right? So that we're kind of rolling over here. We can look at lower time frame, see the 1 hour breaking down. I'd like to see this gap filled at 41 and hitting this 365-day average VWAP right here. So that's kind of what I'm targeting. On the downside, Rigetti looks quite a bit worse from a daily perspective. And you can see it's just in a downtrend. It did start to recover quite a bit, but I think we get at least the run of the lows, or we even head to this 365 VWAP right here at the support around 17. That would be a nice 25% decline. So I'm looking for something like that on Rigetti, and then on IonQ, like I talked about, maybe a little bit less bearish and just move down to 41, which is a 12% drop from here, which would should align with if the stock market can pull back a bit, which is what I'm looking for here as well. What else? What else in Stockland did I want to talk about? Tesla. I'm hearing a lot of talk about Tesla. Tesla looks very bullish here. However, even MACD is bullish. Yeah. So look at this. Is this drawn? Oh yeah. So even in my most extreme scenario and trying to find some kind of bear, it just looks bullish. Tesla looks great here. I could easily see, so if this is kind of like your ugly W, like if we go down to a 4-hour, right, this is like an ugly, very ugly W. And I want that 1.618 tag. So you can see that obvious crossover right on the 4-hour. This is extremely bullish, although we hit 7, 8, and 9 just like we did with Intel. But I'm thinking this is just a pause. We tagged that 1.618, and you want to enter. If we can get a pullback here to like 420, you want to enter. Get ready for that rally. You're going to get a rejection at 450. Then you're going to head up to this area. You're going to squeeze within here, and then eventually you're going to get your big move all the way up to 520. I'm seeing some. I don't think it's going to be that smooth, but I'm seeing something like this with Tesla. I mean, you had your rally, consolidation, distribution, okay, manipulation, lower, accumulation here, and now we're getting the push higher, and we'll move up. Yeah, that's good. Michael Burry trashed it. I don't care what Michael Burry says. Michael Burry became famous because of one trade, and being right on one trade doesn't make you a master trader. I'm not saying Michael Burry's wrong about certain things, but there's a reason he closed his fund and went to, running a Substack. Okay, it's like it's easier for him to make money being newsworthy and having people pay to see what he says than to run a fund and actually have to show performance, which if you look at his fund, the performance is not particularly amazing. Certainly not consistent. Michael Burry is a perma bear, which is something I used to be. And now that I've adjusted and I'm not a permanent bear, I'm a lot more profitable. So Tesla looks good. I had sold quite a bit on Friday. As I said, I reduced my portfolio by about 75%. But looking at this, I might buy some Tesla. I'm going to buy some Tesla and Intel. I might load back up. I think we could, this looks pretty good. This looks great. Something else, UPS. Wanted to look at it a bit. UPS had a nice W here, and this massive, it's had this massive downtrend, right? Look at that. Insane downtrend. What happened to UPS? Maybe because Amazon has their own shipping service now. Let's see if we can adjust this. I hate drawing parallel channels on the stream. It just takes some time to get them perfectly correct. Yeah, I would say that looks pretty good. That lines up pretty well. So there's kind of your downtrend, and you want to see this break to the upside. Until it kind of does, you're still in a downtrend, right? Even up to 123, it'd still be a downtrend. You had a little bit of a W bottom here and a push higher. Right, so that could be considered your expansion. We hit 2.618, even went as high as 3.59, which was your 365-day VWAP. We could go up to 105. I'm not crazy bullish on it. Yeah, actually, I don't like how this looks. Maybe we have to see this gap fill. It was never filled at the 90-day VWAP. Not a fan of it. I thought I remember seeing something bullish about it, but it doesn't look great. Another one that I'm following is Open. I've talked about this a few times. It had quite a big liftoff, and I think it's consolidating here before the next leg higher. And if we look at a daily, the daily is a bit messy, but to me it does look like it's consolidating. We need this MACD to reverse, so it could take a while, but eventually, I could see something like that where we move up to like 16, right here. That's your next kind of resistance area. So it's something to keep an eye on. I'm not saying buy it right now, but keep an eye on it. Do I have anything else? Oh, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But Cole mentioned Lyft, Upwork, and ZM. Okay, so we can look at, they seem like all companies I don't pay attention to anymore. Yeah, weekly chart on Lyft looks okay. Big W's off the bottom, right? Basically tagged our 1.618 level, and we could go right up to 50, which is about your 78.6 selling zone. Yeah, honestly, it looks good. I would agree. Great suggestion. Maybe on a 4-hour. You just have to find an entry in this range. Any gaps down here? No. Maybe you get like a bit of a pullback and you can enter down here around 19 and you set a tight stop like 18. Enter at 19, set your stop at 18 or something like that. I could see that working, but we did tag that 1.618, so it might take some time to reach the next level. But if you do, you get a very nice double, and it fills this huge gap. But could take some time. Obviously, this is moving pretty slow. It's been down here since 2022. Hasn't really fully recovered, but it looks decent. It just be prepared to hold for a while. It's not like something that's going to happen tomorrow. Upwork. Yeah, look at this, just slowly trending higher. I used Upwork recently. Not a big fan. It feels like the quality's gone down quite a bit. But same sort of thing, right? Yeah, for sure. Longer term, I would agree. They look like longer term holds. I would hold them for a while. Yeah, it looks good. I like it. I mean, even if you bought it right here, you still get 100% up to 42. So, just buy stock. Don't use any kind of options. I mean, if you really want to use options, I would go out like 2-year leaps, something like that. You'd have to go pretty far out. Where is a potential entry? I don't know if you get an entry. This you might not get an entry. It could just keep going higher. I would have preferred to enter like 16 rather than almost $20. But it could just push right up to 27. But yeah, it looks good. Both really good. Thank you. All right, so let's go to Bitcoin. Everyone's cares about Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Weekly looks like crap. Everyone knows that. No TD7, nothing down here. We do have the major support of this uptrending parallel channel and being in the 78.6, 88.6 fib zone. If you draw from here to here, you get that 78.6, 88.6 zone. The question is this the bottom or do we have further to go? Are we in the 70K camp or are we in the 80K camp? Well, if we look at RSI here. So this was, by the way, this was right there's the fake out that got me. This was a nasty fake out to show that daily is not always correct. Sometimes they do these huge daily fake outs before having a massive decline, as you can see, from 105 to 81. That was destructive. And you wouldn't have really known it's a fake out until probably here. Basically the close of this candle down at 97 from the original buy at essentially 105. That's a pretty big move and shows that RSI is not always correct. It can be faked out, as all momentum indicators can, and sometimes isn't even the best thing to use. And I'm even getting away from using some of these, even RSI, and I'm looking at better things to use. Simply just using price action in some ways is better, and on lower time frames I prefer that. I'm not going to go into too much detail though. I'm still kind of improving, but I think it's helped. They're both have their time and place. So on the daily here, right, this is actually a start of a reversal setup for me. So we broke out of the downtrend. We're retracing to take out any late longs. And now it's just, okay, well, where are we going to reverse on this lower time frame? We had that 4-hour TD7. So, well, first of all, I should say that I don't think we're going below 80K. I don't see it. You have massive support here. You've had the reversal on the daily. I just have a hard time kind of seeing it. Now, what I can see is we take out these lows and head down to like 82 area. This could happen. We had a big rejection here. And if the stock market rolls over, I don't see why Bitcoin couldn't also roll over here. But it also might not. It also might just head higher from here. It's tough to say in this area. If you wanted to be long, you would have needed to long here at 84. Now it's kind of in a no man's zone. If you really wanted to be long, you could long here with a tight stop, like 86 200, and stop at like 86 or even 85 900, and that could be your long, and you could just try to ride that all the way up. It's not a bad area to consider longs. But yeah, there's the chance on these lower time frames that we could roll over here and hit this 82 area. Right down here, I would like to see right here at 82 200, right below this candle right here, and even into this wick area. I mean, we can look at liquidity. Let's look at. I don't like to use it too much, but in these type of scenarios, it can be useful. Oh, that's Ethereum. Let's change to Bitcoin. Yeah, actually, there's nothing down here. Look at that. A little bit here, 83, 4. There's really not a lot. And going out 1 week. It's not, there's really not a lot. 1 month. A little bit in the 70K. Really, there's more up here. I mean, if we go to the liquidation heat, I don't want heat map, sorry. It's interesting on this one, 24-hour, you have a bunch down here at 83K. Wonder why it doesn't show up on the other one as clearly. Look at that. So you do have a bunch down here. Interesting how different it looks from the other chart. Nothing on a weekly. But there is that potential, right? This isn't guaranteed, but there is that potential to go back down to that 24, 84K, 83K area. I wanted to look at this one though, liquidation map. Yeah, okay, so you have a bunch here at 87, and then a bunch here. 1.5, 1 billion, a 7-day. I mean, obviously you have more on the upside here and not too much on the downside. But maybe there's a huge incentive to just take it out one last time before moving up and just steamrolling everything. Obviously there's more on the upside, but that doesn't guarantee that we'll immediately go to the upside. That's the only thing I thought I'd look at it just to talk about how even you look at the liquidity, it's still a guessing game, and there's really no guaranteed clear direction. And I don't think it helps you that much. We can look at options expiry for this week, just for stocks, and to kind of give us a direction on where crypto could go. We did get a huge liquidation in Bitcoin yesterday, so that could provide the necessary catalyst for us to just move higher. 5th is Friday. Wow. What the hell? Am I looking at the right date? Yeah, it's 2000 something. Okay, so Friday. So many puts. Somebody was worried about a crash and buying basically insurance. That's what this looks like. I think we'll probably push to the upside. So whenever I see this kind of thing, normally the market does not end up pulling back. I mean, if we do, I don't see us going below 650. Like, that's kind of the wall. Let's look at, why don't we look at expiry on the 19th? Let's look at the monthlies. Yeah, so now you have a lot. So 700 is kind of the wall on the upside. 650 on the downside, you get a lot. So that might be the range between 650 and 700 for the month, with 650 basically being down here and 700 basically being up here. So that's your December range. It looks like. I'm trying to think if I want to go over anything else. I think that kind of covers it. I mean, I could look at smaller coins, but you know, everything's kind of going to follow Bitcoin, right? So I don't see the benefit of going any deeper with any of this. The main Bitcoin does look like it could move higher. So just understand that this maybe was the retrace bottom, and we head higher from here. But it's hard to say for sure. It really is. But I want to see us break out of this kind of downtrend. And why is it not looking? It's not looking the way I want it to. Kind of like, no, I don't like that. We have to adjust accordingly. Like I said, I don't like drawing these on the stream. Something like that, I guess, is fine. Would have been hard to draw before seeing this. But yeah, this is kind of what it looks like. We had our retrace potential, but that was the bottom, and we bounced from here. We put in a nice W if that is what happens, and then this W plays out, points to 4.669 of 120, 2.618 of 104, 96K is the first major resistance. which kind of lines up with their downtrend resistance. So if we get that move, right, and you get rejected, and then you're back within this, and then you do something like that, I could see something like this playing out before finally going up here to this midpoint and then running into an issue. That's a potential bull scenario. For anyone that's interested in the higher time frame bull scenario, that's what it is looking like to me. Yeah, that's all I've kind of got. Nothing else other than to be careful in stocks especially. I don't think the direction is clear here. And there may be a broken correlation between Bitcoin and stocks as well. So another thing to keep in mind. But we did have a massive liquidation yesterday on crypto, so that might have been the bottom. Keep in mind, and definitely on RSI daily, it looks like a bottom to me. And we've got posts of 70K and stuff like that coming out. So I'm leaning bullish on Bitcoin. I'm liking how it looks. All right, that's all I've got. We'll do another show in like 3 days and see where we end up. Hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and I will talk